Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Ashley Beeman Show. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about something that I've actually experienced myself, and we're gonna dive into the topic of why I personally believe this obsession with being skinny that's coming back into our society doesn't really stem from the actual fact that everybody wants to be skinny. Now, yes, we do have an issue where people want to be smaller and smaller and smaller. However, the thing that I keep hearing people talk about is food noise. And that's the topic that I really want to dive into, because the truth of the matter is a lot of people are simply addicted to not feeling hungry. They want that sensation of never thinking about food. And part of the reason why they feel that way is because they don't have the self-trust within themselves in order to make decisions that feel good. There is so much fear-mongering. There is so much chatter. There are so many things on the internet that make people, especially women, feel like whichever decision that they make with their food is going to be a wrong decision. And the reason why I said I've dealt with this myself in the past is, if you don't know my story, I was deep in diet culture for like over a decade, and a good 5 to 6 years during that time period, I was addicted to stimulants. I was addicted to phentermine, and then I was addicted to Adderall. And the reason why I was so addicted to those two supplements, or it's not supplements, prescription drugs, is because, well, part of the reason is because they gave me that feeling of not feeling hungry. And I absolutely loved it. I loved it because I didn't have to make any decisions. I loved it because it was a way that I could control my body. I loved it because it was a way that I didn't have to think about food all of the time. So today, what I want to do is I want to dive into the topic that so many women struggle with, and honestly, one that diet culture and social media have completely butchered, and that's food noise. Everyone is out here feeling terrified of being hungry, thinking that every single craving means something is wrong with them, or believing that they're like completely out of control because they think about food. So today I want to break down this in a way that makes sense, and in a way that will empower you instead of scare you, and in a way that you don't have to want to be that addicted to not feeling hungry, because that isn't going to solve anything. It's only going to make your health issues worse. And in a way, this is going to give you tools that you can actually use. Now, I want to preface this by saying I am not against using a GLP-1 when it comes to weight loss. I think it's life-changing for a lot of people. However, I do think that it is being abused. And part of that abuse is how everybody is addicted to not wanting to feel hungry. So the first thing that we need to talk about is redefining food noise, because not all of it is bad. So let's start with this. Food noise is not a moral failing. Food noise is not a lack of discipline. Food noise is not a character flaw. Food noise is literally your body sending signals and your brain trying to interpret them. That's it. Because of years of dieting, restricting, guilt, misinformation, and fear-based messaging, most people have no idea how to even interpret those signals. So instead of understanding hunger or cravings, we just panic, we react, we spiral, and then we create an identity around being bad with food. When you're not bad with food, you've never just been taught how food works in your body. We live in a culture, like I said, that is addicted to not being hungry. And this is a big one. We live in a society obsessed with eliminating hunger. We have GLP-1s, we have supplements, we have fiber things going on. We have everybody sharing how they're eliminating their food noise and their hunger. It's like the goal has become, how can I get through the day without ever feeling a hunger cue? And with the rise of GLP-1 medication, that message has gotten even louder. Now listen, like I said before, I am not shaming anyone who chooses to use a GLP-1. It's your body, it's your choice. But as a coach, here's the truth. Hunger is not a death sentence. Hunger will not kill you, and hunger is not something that you should spend your entire life trying to escape. The goal is not to never feel hungry. The goal is to understand what your hunger is trying to tell you. Because here's the thing, sometimes hunger means you need food. Sometimes cravings mean you actually need fuel. Sometimes food noise means you need protein. You're stressed, you didn't sleep good, you underate the day before or earlier in the day. And sometimes food noise is just literally your brain being dramatic. Not every thought about food requires a reaction. And here's the thing, discomfort is a part of the journey and it's totally okay. This is where most people struggle. We've been conditioned to believe that if I'm uncomfortable with something, something is wrong. If I'm hungry, something is wrong. If I have cravings, something is wrong. No, sometimes you're just hungry. And sometimes hunger is appropriate, especially in a fat loss phase. Fat loss requires eating slightly less than your body wants to. And that's going to create hunger. And guess what? It's totally freaking normal. Hunger is feedback. It's not danger. What matters isn't the hunger itself, it's how we respond to it. You're not going to die from being a little hungry. You're not going to lose muscle because of one craving. You're not going to undo your progress if you wait until your next unplanned meal. A big part, or your next planned meal, not your unplanned meal. A big part of sustainable fat loss is learning how to sit with mild discomfort without spiraling. Not extreme discomfort, not ignoring your body, just the normal human experience of hunger. So what does fueling your body properly actually mean? This is where most people struggle. Food noise becomes loud when you skip breakfast, you wait too long between meals, you don't have protein, you eat too many carbs alone with no balance, with no fat, no protein. You're under eat all day long, and then at the end of the day, you're shoving food in your face. You're dehydrated, you haven't slept. Sleeping is a big one when it comes to your hunger signals. You don't strength train, you're chronically dieting, or you hit the 3 p.m. crash because your lunch was completely unbalanced. So let's talk about what proper fueling actually looks like. So some examples of a balanced day that will reduce your food noise is breakfast, is making sure that you're getting 25 to 30 grams of protein. In fact, I suggest getting 25 to 30 grams of protein every single time that you eat. This is going to help reduce your food noise significantly. Having carbs to fuel your morning, a little fat to keep you satisfied, something you enjoy. Yes, even if it's just like jam on toast. For instance, I'm obsessed right now with my homemade sourdough English muffins, a little bit of butter and a little bit of jam on the side. You could add in some egg whites, or like I like to do, a protein coffee. You can have protein coffee and overnight oats, chicken sausage, fruit, and toast. The goal isn't to not have any food. The goal is to balance your meals out so that you can stay full, satisfied, and able to get through your day with enough energy and enough focus. So a midday meal, same thing. You want to shoot for 25 to 30 grams of protein. Make sure you're getting in some fiber from veggies, fruit, or whole grains, carbs for energy, and moderate fat. Some examples of that would look like a chicken burrito bowl with rice and veggies and salsa, turkey wrap with fruit on the side, a leftover chicken with potatoes and veggies, or my favorite that I just posted on TikTok is my protein yogurt bowl. I like to have that for lunch, and it's a great reminder of you can eat whatever kind of food that you want to eat at whatever time of the day. The protein yogurt bowl has been my lunch for the past year, and I am not, I still love it to this day. So anyways, some afternoon fuel ideas. So this is where most people mess up because they let themselves get too hungry before dinner time hits. So this is when the food noise usually gets super loud. But if you are going to have anything, we want to make sure that it's balanced so that it satisfies not only your cravings, but it also keeps you full until you get to dinner. And that way you aren't going into a meal feeling super hungry and ravenous when you go into something. I personally believe that it's important for us to have balanced meals throughout the day. For most people, I know that fasting works for some people, and if it works for you, great. But honestly, I would invite you to really look at if it's actually working, because I fasted, I did low carb and keto for years and years and years. If you go back on my YouTube channel, you will see that some of my videos that went viral were actually keto recipes. But anyways, I thought that I was thriving when I was intermittent fasting and I was doing keto. But once I started to eat more meals throughout the day, once I started to add carbs into my diet, I felt so much better. My brain worked better, my thyroid, my hormones were better, my energy was better. Everything was just better. My workouts, all of the things, my body ended up being better, everything. So anyway, some afternoon snack ideas. You could do a protein shake with some fruit. You could do hummus and veggies and deli turkey. Yesterday, I had a pear. I had some deli lunch meat. I had a string cheese. That was a great thing to hold me over until dinner. It held me over for a couple hours. You could do Greek yogurt like I was talking about that I have for lunch. And then for dinner, same thing. You want to focus on 25 to 30 grams of protein, a carb source, veggies, and fat as needed. So some examples of easy dinners. I like to keep things simple as possible, a protein, a carb, and then if you need to add fat on top of that, add that on top of it. But that's how I build up my plates. Salmon with jasmine rice and green beans, or chicken, pasta bowl, or a burrito bowl. And if you want something after dinner, like a dessert, make it intentional. You don't have to fear it, just simply plan it. When you fuel your body consistently throughout the day, food noise drastically goes down. When you starve yourself until dinner, food noise is going to go up. It's not a mindset, it's simply biology. Okay, so how to actually navigate food noise when it happens. Here's the framework you can teach yourself to do. So number one is ask yourself, did I eat enough today? Because most cravings come from under eating or restricting. Number two is, did I get enough protein today? Low protein creates this hunger loop that's never ending. Number three, did I balance my meals? Carbs alone are going to spike your blood sugar and crash it. But if you add a protein into that, it's not going to do that. And number four is, am I actually hungry or am I simply just uncomfortable? There is a huge difference between mild hunger, which is not an emergency, and actual hunger where your body needs to be fueled. And when you start paying attention to your nutrition and you start learning about your body, you're going to understand these cues even more. But if you're simply just trying to eliminate the food noise and get rid of it, you're never going to learn about your body, because that just tells me that you don't trust yourself. So what we need to do is we need to put one foot in front of the other. We need to educate ourselves and we need to test these things out so that we can learn about our body and how our body works. Number five is, can I wait 15 minutes? Because most cravings will disappear when you create space. Number six is, do I need a food or do I need a break? Stress, food noise is very real. Maybe you need to go for a walk. Maybe you need to get outside. Maybe you just need to take a break for a second before you actually dive into that food. And number seven, if you do choose to eat, how can you eat intentionally? This is where that self-trust is built. It's not built from restriction. It's built from intentional choices. So hunger cues are earned and they're not automatic. So here's the truth that people don't talk about. You can't learn your actual hunger cues until you fuel your body properly, like I was saying, and consistently for a period of time. So if you have chronically dieted, if you've binged and restricted, if you've skipped meals, if you've eaten irregularly, if you've undereaten for years, or you fear carbs or sugar, your hunger cues are probably not accurate yet. Your body is confused. Your metabolism is trying to protect you. Your signals are blurry. And the goal is not perfect hunger cues overnight. The goal is to fuel your body, do it consistently, do it safely, and accurately understand your hunger signals. So when your body feels safe, it's able to clearly communicate. So food noise is not the enemy. Hunger is not the enemy. Lack of education and fear-based nutrition is literally the enemy. When you fuel your body correctly and understand the science behind hunger, cravings, metabolism, and muscle, you stop panicking, you stop spiraling, you stop making emotional decisions, and you learn to trust yourself. So next week's episode on Macro Monday is going to do a deep dive into this. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to structure your meal so that you feel stable, energized, and confident throughout the day. There's no more guessing. There's no more fear. There's no more giving up when food noise shows up. This is how you build a body and a relationship with food that lasts. And I also want to touch on this. So when I work with clients who are on a GLP-1, there are some requirements that I have. And the reason why I have these requirements is because, again, I don't want them to lose the weight and then gain the weight back. I don't want them to not understand how their body works or how to approach these hunger cues. So they are required to track their macros and make sure they're hitting at least their calories and their protein. This is important because all weight loss is not good weight loss. If we are losing, this could probably be a whole nother episode for another day, but if we're losing muscle mass along with our fat mass, it's going to be really hard for you to maintain your weight loss because your body is going to require less calories in order to survive. And if you just simply come off a GLP-1 and go back to the way that you were eating before and you have no data on what you were eating while you were losing the weight, your hunger cues are going to go through the roof and you're not going to understand what to eat because you didn't have any data of what you were doing in order to lose that weight. When we have the data of what we're doing in order to lose weight, we are able to reverse diet off. So we can slowly come off the GLP-1. We can reverse diet off of a calorie deficit, and your body will maintain that weight while you're eating more calories. The other thing that I require my clients to do is to weight lift while they're on a GLP-1, because again, we don't want to lose muscle. We want to maintain as much as we can. And if we can build any, which you probably aren't going to be building in a deficit, that's going to be helpful. Not only is it going to be helpful for your metabolism, but it's going to be helpful for your body as you age. Muscle is literally the fountain of youth. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys today. We don't need to be fearing food noise. We need to learn how to navigate food noise instead of just completely ignoring it. Because when we completely ignore something, we never heal, right? You cannot heal what you avoid. I've talked about this with the scale so much, but it's so true with every little thing that comes along this journey. So if you enjoyed this episode, please screenshot it, share it on your Instagram, tag me in it, and share it with a friend. Make sure you subscribe. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.